Hello and welcome to another chapter of the Tao Te Ching. Today we're looking at chapter 31. The title of this is of Weapons and Mourning, Mourning. And we really kind of like coming off the last verse where we were talking about dominating. We're going to start talking about weapons and when we wield weapons, how that is going to affect us as well as the other person. And so let's get into this and we'll kind of break it down a bit. Weapons are horrible tools. The master avoids weaponizing anything. Weapons promote fear and separation, avoided by those who walk in blessings, embraced by those who walk in delusion. If compelled to use them, she uses restraint. There is no glory in victory if weapons are used. Her enemy is not evil, but human like herself. How can she glory in their slaughter? When the master is compelled to engage a weapon, she does so gravely and filled with compassion, knowing that this is the first state of her mourning. You know, in our world today, we weaponize so much words, actions, our state, even like, we weaponize our illnesses. We weaponize our confusion. We weaponize just about everything. We weaponize things so that we could be the victim, right? So many people are out there just wanting to be a victim so that they don't have to be responsible, because no one wants to be responsible for what they do. They want to be a victim of other things. And here we're really kind of looking at like, well, if you're going to weaponize like your self and the things that you're experiencing, if you're going to weaponize those things, and we could bring that up for so much, whether it's like your sexual orientation or gender or race or religion, or we weaponize those things, and we look out at the world and we can attack the world for not appreciating things in the same way that we do. Well, that is weaponizing, right? We're weaponizing that. We weaponize the gun laws. We weaponize the on both sides. And this isn't one-sided. Like, all of these things are weaponized, right, on both sides. And when they are, what is happening is we're attacking each other. And so here we are just attacking, and no one is elevating to the state of master to be able to be like, let's stop weaponizing things. And when I am compelled to weaponize something, I'm going to use it and stop. Like, I'm not going to keep rubbing it in. I'm not going to keep harping on it. I'm not going to continue. Like, we weaponize words. I mean, our political systems in the world are breaking down to such an extent that weaponizing is just the natural state of things. And if you don't weaponize, then you're considered weak, possibly. And if you don't weaponize, you are threatened with losing, or you're threatened with being left behind, or you're threatened with all of these kind of crazy ideas of like no one's gonna, if you don't weaponize, if you don't upset people, if you don't do these things, you're not going to make money, you're not going to be important, you're not going to be. And that's what this means by weapons promote fear and separation. As soon as you weaponize something, you are separating yourself or others from you, or yourself from others. As soon as you weaponize anything, that's what you're doing. And so here we're really looking at this idea of like, well, why do you got to weaponize anything? Why can't you just accept where people are, let them be where they are, and live your life? There are moments where people will egg you on, and you can no longer not weaponize something. But it is when you can elevate yourself beyond weaponizing on those first couple attempts and be like, hey, this is just whatever. You don't have to do this. You don't have to go online and weaponize things and make people feel bad and troll and do whatever it is that people do today. It's avoided. Weapons are avoided by those who walk in blessings. If you see the blessings of the world around you, you're not going to want to pick up a weapon. But if you're delusional and you see everything as an attack, then you are going to embrace that, right? Embraced by those who walk in delusion. The reality is you are connected to everything, all of humanity, all beings, every ant, everything on the planet you're connected to. And so you ought to maybe see that as a blessing. See all of those things as blessings rather than like, oh, I got ants in my house. Yeah, okay, you can kill them, sure, but you can also recognize their shared experience that you're having as well. If compelled to use weapons, she uses restraint. There is no glory in victory if weapons are used. There's only glory in victory when you can love somebody to the point that there is no contention. Her enemy is not evil, but human like herself. How can she see glory in their slaughter? When the master is compelled to engage a weapon, because it's going to happen, there's nothing wrong with weapons, right? We're not saying weapons shouldn't ever be used. This is not a non-violence sort of, the Tao Te Ching doesn't promote non-violence. That's not the point. The point is that, yeah, maybe you'll have to engage a weapon at some point. And when that moment comes, you do so, and it's heavy on your heart. You're like, oh, I really don't want to do this, but this is the only way forward. This is the only way for me to end this torment that this person who really wants me to pick up a weapon is causing me. And so you pick up your weapon, you use it deftly, you put it down. Filled with compassion. She does so, filled with compassion. She picks up, she engages her weapon, filled with compassion, knowing that this is the first state of her mourning. This is the first state of her being like, oh, I really didn't want to do that. But I was given no choice, and I had to engage a weapon. And then I put it down, and then go about my business. See, that's a difficult thing for people. I think when people, even when they get pushed to that point, they want to say, see what you made me do. And that's weaponizing even further. You don't do that. You wield your weapon, and you put it down, and then you walk away. But you wield it deftly. You do not just hint at it. You don't pick up your weapon and threaten somebody. You pick it up, you use it, and you put it down. If you pick it up, if you are compelled to do that, if you are pushed to that point, right? That's the thing. You have to get to a place where you love yourself enough that you're not going to pick up a weapon unless compelled to the extent that you can't not. And then when that happens, when that moment happens that you pick it up, you know there is no other choice. You do it, and you do it with compassion, and you do it deftly so as to not cause any undue suffering. You wield your weapon and let it go. And this is done with compassion, and you recognize that you are going to mourn this moment, that this happened. And so, and because you're going to mourn it, that's why you wait. That's why you attempt to do everything you can to not wield a weapon. And when it's time to wield it, you do it deftly, swiftly, and with compassion. For this, I always want to remind people that we weaponize our words, we weaponize our actions, we weaponize so many things. Sometimes well before we've even tried to not wield a weapon. And so I want to leave you with that. And we need to recognize that, people are wielding weapons far too soon these days. And it's good if we can use some restraint. All right, thank you so much for joining me for another chapter of the Tao Te Ching. That was 31 of Weapons and Mourning. And until next time, keep recovering yourself.